So I was saying this wrong since I first heard about this movie. It's not Action Point, it's Action Point. Like it's a location. I didn't know that. I barely saw the trailer and the sound wasn't even on, so I had no idea what this was going to be about. Action Point. Directed by Tim Kirkby, starring Johnny Knoxville, Chris Pontius, and Dan Bacadal as the villain. Poor guy. So the reason I went and saw this movie is because a guy at work showed me the trailer on Facebook, and usually I just disregard everything on Facebook as just trying to undermine democracy. So I wasn't really giving it a whole lot of thought, but it kept coming up in conversation over the weeks, so I decided I'd have something to talk about when I go back to work next week. And of the three comedies I've now seen in the past, I don't know, months, and Super Troopers, Deadpool, and this is the worst of them all because the not funny moments are really not funny, and the actually funny moments aren't there enough. It's literally the only parts that are actually enjoyable are the Jackass moments, and like I haven't seen the Jackass movies. Growing up, I never went out of my way to see Jackass. If it was on, if someone was watching it, yeah, I'd check it out. I liked Wild Boys because I like animals, but I wasn't a Jackass fan. I didn't really like Viva La Bam. So I wouldn't normally have gone and seen this if it didn't have the plot that it had, which was incredibly rudimentary. It was just your run-of-the-mill father needs to reconnect with his daughter, with some of the tropes kind of thrown on their head. Like at the end, he didn't get to keep the park. That dream is dead. You know, dreams die. Life. But suffice it to say, I laughed a lot during this movie, but there weren't a lot of people there, and it's that comedy club mentality where if you have a bunch of people there laughing with you, it makes it so much better. Deadpool was so much funnier because it was full of people. And this was literally me. There was a guy behind me who was a couple years older than me, and what I assume was his mom. Which, I mean, I've taken my mom to some inappropriate movies, but this one I wouldn't even consider. I mean, a guy gets cum on his hand. I wouldn't want to be sitting next to my mom during that joke. I actually kind of started making up a headcanon about those two while I was watching it because it did get kind of boring at parts. Like, did I really need a Chris Pontius love story thrown in there? A B story about that? No. But in my head, I was thinking that maybe 15 years ago when this guy was like 17, his mom was like sick, and they had to spend a lot of time together, but you know, he was 17, so he just wanted to watch Jackass. So they bonded over watching Jackass, and that was just what I was doing to fill the time in my head. And as for the stunts, they were really good, and I have to assume that at least the vast majority of them are real. It's just the cinematic look of the camera kind of wrecked that. I'm so accustomed to seeing stunts done in a camera frame like this that I assume that it's fake. And it takes a lot of the weight away when it isn't that, you know, amateurish quality that Jackass used to do. So honestly, there's not too much I can really say about this. If you haven't already seen all of the Jackass movies and TV shows, just watch those first. But if you've completely seen every single Jackass thing ever and it's not funny anymore because you know what's coming, go ahead, watch this. It probably needs your money. Johnny Knoxville probably has some medical bills to pay for.